Controversy still swirling over Attorney General Adam Laxalt after he cast the lone vote against granting a pardon to a man who is said to be wrongfully convicted of murder, spent 21 years in a Nevada prison.
Governor Sandoval and all 7 members of the Nevada Supreme Court voted, though, to pardon Frederick Steese for the 1992 murder of a North Las Vegas man. Politics Now co-host Steve Sebelius has been looking into that story tonight. Steve?
Well, the case of Fred Steese has been winding through Nevada courts for decades. It first came to public attention in a series of stories by former 8 News Now I-Team reporter Colleen McCarty, who outlined serious questions about Steese's guilt despite his confession to police and his 1995 conviction. Steese was immediately a suspect in the grisly June 1992 death of Gerard Soles, a circus dog show MC. Steese had briefly lived with Soles in his North Las Vegas trailer. After his arrest and a long interrogation by North Las Vegas police, Steese confessed to the crime, saying he killed Soles during a burglary. But as McCarty reported, there was ample evidence that Steese was not in Las Vegas on the day of the Soles murder. After a series of appeals, the Nevada Supreme Court ordered a local judge to take another look at the case. She did, and found overwhelming evidence to support Steese's innocence. She ruled Steese has presented enough evidence to allow him to proceed with an appeal that could free him from prison. Instead, Clark County prosecutors and Steese struck a deal. He would admit that the state could again convict him of the crime, and he could go free, albeit with a conviction on his record. Steese agreed, but insisted on asking for a full pardon. That request came before the Board of Pardon Commissioners last week. Clark County prosecutors have continued to insist in the years since the conviction that Steese is guilty and wrote a letter opposing a pardon. That letter says, quote, "The position of this Clark County District Attorney's Office is that pardons should be reserved for exemplary individuals under extraordinary circumstances in cases of lesser gravity. The absurdity of applicant having pled guilty twice to the murder of Mr. Soles and is now asking the Pardons Board to absolve him as innocent of a murder he's pled guilty to twice. Applicant is not a proper candidate for a pardon. Accordingly, the District Attorney's Office does not support this application for a pardon." Initially, Laxalt tried to abstain from the vote, but when told by the governor he couldn't, he voted no. He didn't say why at the time, but in a statement to 8 News Now, a spokesman for Laxalt's office said, "The Attorney General does not believe that Mr. Steese is innocent and relied on career prosecutors in the Clark County District Attorney's Office who called this request an absurdity," unquote. But that vote drew criticism from Democrats and from Republican State Treasurer Dan Schwartz, who was running against Laxalt for governor.
There was prosecutorial misconduct. I truly don't understand the Attorney General's vote. I think that the judges of the Supreme Court and the governor all voted to give him a pardon. The Attorney General should have done the same.
Now, despite Laxalt's no vote, Steese received his pardon and is no longer considered guilty of murder. No other suspect has ever been charged in the now 25-year-old crime. David Denise?